We are fast approaching the end of our first 2 years of slow traveling in our early retirement. And in those 2 years, we've had a few revelations. In particular, is that for us, slow travel meant a much better life. It allowed us to save money. It allowed us to have a much more, I can't think of the word.
Calm.
It was much better for our mental health. It was
much better than working.
But also just gave us more to learn and to immerse ourselves. I'm Frank.
Hi, I'm Katie.
And we are FNK Life. The first revelation was that geoarbitrage is a thing and it really, really works. So what does that mean in practice? Well, the optimal for us is about 3 or 4 months in one continent. It means that we can spend 1 or 2 months in a separate country or a different location. But most importantly, we save a lot on long-haul flights. And who loves long-haul flights? So our target ultimately will be to get no more than 2 return long-haul flights, maybe 3 at the most.
It means that we can take advantage of the different seasons across the world. So we try and avoid all of the peak seasons for not only being more expensive, but just having way too many people around. We really like the spring, autumn time and just trying to follow 24, 25 degrees.
Oh, yes.
And in the last 2 years, it's meant that we haven't had to have one winter anywhere, which has been lovely. We don't miss all the cold and the rain.
So not only do we save on long-haul flights, we also save on big coats, which is, and big shoes. You know, those do cost a lot of money and they take a lot of space in your luggage. We also take fewer internal flights because we stay at least a month in every location. It's easier to plan. And for anyone that's traveled for a long time, now we've done 2 years, planning days are difficult. The next thing we learn in that same context of geoarbitrage is that we actually get bored if we stay in one place for too long. However good the food is, however good the wine is, at some point we're like, well, we've had the best food in the world for the last 3 months, but I really miss this other best food in the world. You all have your favorites. Let's say, for example, we go to Asia. We love Thai food, Vietnamese food. But after 2 or 3 months, we're like, yeah, I really miss French food in Europe or Italian food. Then, oh, you know, we've been 3 months in France now, and I'm a bit bored with all those beautiful, creamy, buttery sauces.
There's only so much of that you can take, and all of that wine.
You know what I really miss? I really miss nachos and tacos and margaritas.
Mexican.
So we have that thing where if we're only there for 2 or 3 months, we can really indulge in those local foods that we love without the fear that we'll get bored and blasé with them, because we always then look forward to the next continent, the next location, and our next favorite wine or food.
So our second revelation was in regards to accommodation. The thing we learned was accommodation's really important. We much prefer having an Airbnb apartment than having a hotel room, because it's just too limiting just having one space. And also linked to that, if we book an apartment, it has to be a proper 1-bedroom. We don't look at studios. Still annoyed with Airbnb that it won't let you exclude for studios. You have to work out, is the bed next to your kitchen? But if we pick the right place, it's really just like we have our own little home in the area that we're staying in. We found within that the things that were important to us are a comfy bed, a comfy sofa as well if we're lucky, a decent kitchen that's got the right equipment. But if it doesn't, then we'll buy a couple of things to make it feel more like home.
Yes.
But it makes us settle in a lot quicker once we know that we've got decent accommodation.
All those things matter to us way more than we thought originally. So if you are considering full-time travel, early retirement, add a bit of extra, either in research or in your budget, to make sure that you have the right kind of room, because you'll find that you already live on top of each other 24/7 forever. So it's quite good to be able to take some time off each other or just by yourself without having to go to a lounge in the hotel, a cafe next door, a restaurant.
And work out what's important to you, maintaining your everyday habits. So we love having our own apartment and just getting up in the morning and you make yourself coffee, and if I'm lucky, you make me a cup of tea. Those things really make you feel like you've got your normal life.
It does feel like home. Even though you're traveling full time, you sold your home or you don't live in it anymore, you rented it out, you still want that feeling of having a home. We found in the first 2 years that if you move too fast all the time and you don't invest slightly more on making sure you have at least one bedroom, one lounge or extra space, then it won't feel like home and you will miss that.
Yeah, that's definitely our experience anyway.
Our third revelation is that location does matter. We discovered quickly that big cities, small town villages, really have an impact on the quality of life we have, especially if we're staying there for a month or more. We might consider staying 2 or 3 nights in a big city as part of an adventure away from our main home, though we prefer our home to be in a smaller town. Yeah. So a good example for us, we're in Thailand just now, staying in Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is a perfect size for us. It's quite walkable. You can walk from the old town to Niman where we are. If the weather's not playing ball, you can take a grab and it's not expensive. So it makes it easy. And we found that, for example, when we stayed in Bangkok, it wasn't even just the cost, it was also the time it took.
Oh, just the traffic. The traffic was abysmal.
Whether you took a grab and got stuck in traffic, or you walked to a tube station and took the train, then changed to another train, everything took an hour every single time. So unless you're going to stay in that one neighborhood in Bangkok, it's going to cost you in time and money, but also the noise. We found that in Ho Chi Minh City, in Hanoi, in Bangkok, and any large city. It could be Buenos Aires. So the noise of traffic, construction, and the number of tourists, we find that it just gets too much for us. When we pick a town, we pick a smaller town for our long stay, but also we like to be outside the big tourist spots. So we will pick a more residential area, something that's easy to access and walk to. But every time we stay in a tourist spot, we feel the stress of every shop owner, every bar tries to drag you in. You do feel that pressure because they're expecting you to be a tourist. And as a result, they treat everybody like disposable passing tourists.
And I think also whenever we've stayed within the actual hub of a tourist area, it's just so much more expensive. We've been lucky when we've stayed in neighbourhoods. You get more of those local gem family restaurants that you don't always find in the centre. So it's nice to stay outside.
That really works for us, yes. When you explore your local residential neighborhood, you will find cafes and restaurants, like you say, but most of those are not on Instagram. They're not on Google Ads. They're not reviewed.
Really not.
You actually found real gems, because we've often been disappointed by those Instagram, Michelin recommended or whatever. Hey, just take a chance and you'll find your quality of food and the quality of life really increases.
And also, because we have an apartment, we have a kitchen, we also want to find a local food market or a decent supermarket. So living in a neighbourhood where all the locals are doing their shopping is a much more fun experience.
It is, and if you stay a month, you actually become one of the locals. The shopkeepers recognize you. And yeah. But it's also that staying longer in one less touristy neighbourhood makes you want to put down roots. And that also helps with general immersion and feeling like you live like a local. So this takes us to point number 4. The longer you stay in one location, the more time you have to immerse yourself in that city, the deeper the connections, and the more we could contemplate bigger projects. So that shows itself in lots of different ways. We do learn about local life. So if you walk every day in the same neighborhood, you see the locals, you see at what time they eat, you see what they eat, and you end up having a really interesting and often much cheaper experience for everyday life. The other thing you can do, and this is what I'm doing since we're in Thailand just now for 2 months, I wanted to learn Thai. So it allowed me to book a course with a private tutor. And 3 or 4 times a week now, I have some Thai lessons now. Don't get excited. My Thai is not advancing very fast, but it's very fulfilling. It's a personal quest for me to be able to add languages. And I know we're going to spend a lot of time in Thailand. So I would like to learn properly. And having the time ahead of you means you have no excuse and you can book those courses. Because I still had lots of times, and we keep going to our favorite bar, this one, Ostinato, which is just around the corner for where we're staying. And they have live music most nights. And one of the evening, the Wednesday night, is open mic night. And they keep threatening me or asking me to get on stage and do 1 or 2 songs. And no, of course. Me being a retiring flower, I did say no. But I used to play the guitar. I used to be in a band in my teens and early 20s. So I haven't really played in a long time. One of the targets I've given myself is that by the end of our 2 months, I will have done at least 1, maybe 2 open mic nights. Now, Kim is dreading this, I believe.
No, it's fun though. It's good. You know, the whole point in retirement is you're meant to have time to re-explore hobbies you've had before or something that you want to get better at. And your brave ties such a complicated language, and then I'm brave for letting you practice the guitar in the flat. But
Yes, and I'm not afraid of making a fool of myself. This is not what it's about. It's such a friendly place. This is not like I'm going to go on stage and to totally humiliate Kim and myself in the process. They are very open-minded, friendly, encouraging, and I'm looking forward to it. It's just something fun to do.
as part of us immersing ourselves in a place, like this is a really good example. We found Ostinato Bar last time, and it was such a friendly bar. The owner means lovely, but the community that he has there, whenever we've been, there's always like different people, but they're just really open and friendly. People recognise us coming back, even if it's been a year, and feeling like you could be part of the community for the time you're there is really important to us.
We love the idea of finding a local. It doesn't matter if it's our local restaurant, our local bar, our local music venue, even a local park. When we were in Mendoza, there was this beautiful park. Most afternoons we'd go for a long walk around it, but then we would sit on a park bench and watch the world go by. But it did feel, and to repeat this again, it did feel like home. Slow travel allows you to feel at home in your most comfortable, happiest setting all year round.
And the other thing with immersing ourselves in the area we're staying in is if we're there for at least a month, it gives us more time to figure out what's going on. So a particular music event or a wine tasting, or even week by week, some of the restaurants have specials. Like when we were in Morocco, they would generally just have couscous on a Friday and margarita Mondays and things like that. So, you know, we really try and pay attention to the fun things that different restaurants and places organise every week.
Yeah, so you can really fit your schedule around all those events rather than, well, we're here for 1 week, that's all we can do. And it's a shame because next week there was this wine festival.
And we should research in advance, but we still miss out on things, but we catch as much as we can when we stay. Okay, our fifth revelation is that it's really important to us to schedule downtime. So it's not the same as when we go on a holiday and you're a week and you have to run and do everything. This is just our day-to-day life. And at home, we wouldn't expect to be out every single day. We're allowed to be in for the day and to just have a duvet day or just chill out, watch some Netflix or do some cooking. It doesn't have to be on the go all the time. And I think by recognising that and not trying to pack out all our week, it's really helped with our mental health.
It has, yes.
Yeah,
There's so much less pressure. I think that's what made the biggest difference is if you go to a location, you want to do everything in the time you're there. But having a month means that there's less pressure. So if a day is particularly rainy or unpleasant or cold, then you can say, well, we'll skip that day. We'll do that in a couple of days when or if you're ill and it happens occasionally, then you can just postpone slightly, even to the point where you've stayed a month and you still haven't managed to do everything. You can always like, well,
we'll come back.
We're full-time travelers. We will be back next year or the year after. So removing that stress, that pressure to do everything really has helped us.
Yeah, definitely. That's been a really good thing.
So take the time to chill, take the time to relax, and don't feel like you have to be go, go, go all the time, even in your go-go years.
Okay, so our sixth revelation is that credit card hacks and points and memberships can really save you money when you're full-time travel. So I'll pass over to Frank if you tell us more on that.
So we knew that points and credit cards would make a difference. What we didn't realize is how much of a difference it did make. To give you a few examples, we carry, well, between us, 3 different Amex cards. So one of them is the American Express Platinum. And this card alone gives us so much more benefits. Prior to traveling full-time, we couldn't justify the membership fee. But now that most months we are in an airport, the fact that we get airport lounge access for 2 really adds up to a lot. Now, it also makes all our travel days, such as they are, much easier and more comfortable. But on top of that, we get travel credits, we get dining out credits, international and local, and we get status in lots of different places. Realizing that we're traveling full-time really gives us the opportunity to maximize the benefits from every card. We also have the British Airways American Express card, which mostly gives us a 2-for-1 travel voucher, one for each of us once a year. And that gives us incredible prices when we're flying long haul, especially in business class. So with the Avios that we accumulate, or the air miles, we get fantastic value for this. Slow travel really works for us because, as we mentioned earlier, we try to limit our travels to 2 or 3 long hauls. But if we get 1 voucher each, that's 2 return flights a year in comfort and in business class.
It's been a good deal.
It has been, yes. So all those things really work when you're traveling slowly and you have a chance to use them properly.
And we'd always recommend a card where you get to benefit from the same FX rate as the banks generally do, but there's no fees for it. And for us travelling so much, that makes a massive difference.
That's true, yes. American Express is not one of those.
No.
But you do make it up in other ways. So try to investigate them in advance whilst you'll still have good credit and you can apply for as many of those cards as you can. Make sure you pay them on time. The usual provisos. We are not financial advisors, but do research it because we use the points a lot and it does make a big difference to the quality of our life. This takes us on to our 7th revelation, is that we made unexpected connections as we traveled around the world, and friendships too.
So it made us want to be more friendly when we were in bars and restaurants and talk to strangers, which is something you really don't do in London. But moving around, there's always travellers in the different places that we stay.
Yes, and it's not that we were not friendly before. No, we were very friendly before, but it's certainly given us more confidence to know that, hey, everybody else around us probably is in the same boat. And just chatting to random people leads to really interesting conversation. Not always interesting. Sometimes you wish you hadn't started. We're certainly more open to just chatting and meeting new people. In particular, we became much more open to meeting people we saw on YouTube. And we reached out through their communities, and we would recommend that to anyone. I'm sure that you follow lots of different people on YouTube, and often they have a forum or a community place that you can join. It's definitely worth doing this. And meeting like-minded people in person or virtually actually really makes a big difference. You know, once you find your tribe, you find that traveling is more fun, more rewarding, and much easier.
Yeah, it's been really nice because you don't realise till you start it, it's a real thing that your friends back home really don't understand the lifestyle that you now have. Whereas the fellow YouTubers that we've met, it's so nice to have those conversations, and we've made really good friendships since we've been travelling. It's been an unexpected bonus.
Yes, and having made those connections means that when you come back to one of those places, settling in is so much easier. Coming back to Chiang Mai for the second time, and it was 18 months later. Honestly, we just felt at home practically on landing.
Yeah, it's just so much easier.
So that takes us to point number 8. Our revelation is that, you know what? After 2 years, the novelty, well, it's not wearing off.
That's good.
We're still blown away with the fact that we live in so many different continents every year, that we're planning to be in way more next year and the year after this. It's not like we're getting bored of it. It's been 2 years. If anything, we're like, wow, we live some life.
This is some life.
We know we're very fortunate and very privileged to be able to do this, but if you're considering it, wow. Even with the difficulties, the challenges, and we did another video on 6 hard lessons we did learn, it doesn't matter. It's worth it and you will love it. Well, we did.
Yes, we definitely picked the right lifestyle for us. We're more moving towards 6 months in a place that we've been to before and 6 months exploring new places.
Yes, and it's not 6 months at a time, we should clarify. Yes, it's
across the span.
Across the year, yes. So we'll spend a couple of months here, 1 month there. So revisiting all our favorite places, but we're leaving some space to explore new cities, new countries, new territories that we have never been to before. But we find that maybe after years and years and years of doing this, we'll have so many favorites that the ratio will change. So instead of being half and half, it's more likely eventually we'll get to a 9-3 kind of ratio, but maybe not. We shall see how it goes. It depends how many cool places we discover in the next few years.
It's exciting. And so we have a bonus revelation.
Well, yes.
And the bonus revelation is that after 2 years, we've managed to not kill each other.
Well, that's true. On the whole, we're very happy with each other. I hope.
So it is a real thing, moving to being retired and being together 24/7. And it is an adjustment, but overall, because we have this travelling lifestyle, I feel like we've actually adapted to it pretty well. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, the revelation after 2 years is actually we quite like each other's company. As long as we get enough space regularly to make sure we can recharge our social batteries. You need those quiet times. And as much as we love spending time together and discovering things together, it's really good that we both do things occasionally separately, whether it's a Thai lesson or a massage to get peace for myself and for Kim. So if you have been traveling for a while, what were the things you discovered about yourself or about the realities of traveling full-time? And we'd like to focus on the good things. You know, this video is about the revelations you had that were positive and things you didn't expect. So if you have not started yet, maybe start with what you're looking forward to the most. More importantly, that there are even more things that you can look forward to. So leave us a comment, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we look forward to catching up on our next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.